Abraham interceded for Sodom just as we, little one, ought to intercede for others. Self-sacrificial love is next to impossible to do properly, but do not worry. We shall learn how to do this together. For the time being, just notice the example set forth here by the patriarch Abraham, and not how he or any of our ancestors may have lived their lives in the context of the cultures in which they lived. That is the evil one making you doubt the Lord. By doubting those he walked with in the past, just as he walks with us today, at this very moment in our fallen nature. The juxtaposition. The enemy hates that we are so easily forgiven, not grasping the simple truth. The Lord is everywhere, all around us. That is a discussion for another time. Atonement begins with this basic premise of interceding or praying for others. Some of us intercede specifically for the dead, which will be covered in due time. From there the men set out, and they looked down on Sodom, and Abraham went with them to speed them on their way. Now the Lord said, "Shall I conceal from Abraham what I am about to do, as Abraham will become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will bless themselves by him? No, for I have singled him out to command his sons and his family after him to keep the way of the Lord, by doing what is righteous and just, so that the Lord may carry out for Abraham what he has promised him." Then the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sin is so grave, that I shall go down and see whether or not their actions correspond to the outcry reaching me. Then I shall know." While the men left there and went to Sodom, Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Praying for the poor souls in purgatory is a calling, a command, a job. Simply put, it is literally the only thing the Lord has asked me to do. A little task compared to what he brings to the table. This is taken a step further in the heart of Abraham, interceding on Sodom's behalf, and the parable of the shrewd servant. Praying not for miraculous healings, but for taking the temporal punishment of those souls in purgatory who cannot atone for their sin, since they are dead where, as the Lord states, they cannot praise the Lord in the shadows, in Sheol, in the land of the shades of death. I can, though, with my free will, to the best of my abilities, offer to take their sufferings, since I atone every day already. The Lord also said to his disciples, "There was a rich man, and he had a manager who was denounced to him for squandering his property. He called for the man and said, 'What is this I hear about you? Draw me up an account of your management, because you are not to be my manager any longer.' Then the manager said to himself, 'Now that my master is taking my position away from me, what am I to do? I am not strong enough to dig. I would be ashamed to go begging. I know what I will do to make sure that when I am dismissed from office, people will welcome me into their homes.' Then he called his master's debtors one by one. To the first he said, 'How much do you owe my master?' 100 jars of oil, he said. The manager said, 'Take your bond, sit down and quickly write 50. To another he said, 'And you, sir, how much do you owe?' 100 sacks of wheat, he said. The manager said, 'Take your bond and write 80. The master praised the dishonest manager for his astuteness. For the children of this world are more astute in dealing with their own kind than are the children of light. Halloween is the high point of my single task of praying for the dead. There is nothing creepy about the dead. They need help. Our help. This holiday season, think of that while gathering candy and scaring each other with cheap gimmicks and tricks. Celebrate by praying for loved ones, or do what the real enemy, the devil, does not want you to do, which is to pray for our enemies. This praying for the dead helps fulfill the Lord's command to self-sacrificially love one another as he loves us.